Welcome back to another week of Instigating with Clarkie and Drury, brought to you by our friends at Conway Furniture, our friends at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC, and of course, the Listowel Squash Courts. Ryan Drury here, no Clarkie this week, which is unfortunate because we're joined by a great special guest and a great friend of the show and a great compatriot Leaf fan with Clarkie. He'll be sad to miss it. The one and only, your friendly neighborhood dark guy, Jason Maslakow, back on the program. Jason, how are you, man?
Absolutely fantastic, especially after the Leafs opening the year with a win last night. So I'm doing great. And, I always hate missing Clarkie, but the show must go on, and we got this.
The show must go on. We'll be okay, I think. And let's start right with what you brought up right off the top there. Opening night win for the Leafs against their hated rival, the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal not making it very easy on them, though. They had to pull the goalie, the dramatic comeback. Auston Matthews was electric. How you feeling after that performance? It felt a little jilted at times. I don't think either coach will be very happy with how their team played, but the Leafs won, and that's all that matters, right?
You know what? The 2 points is all that counts. But in the end, I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. That was an absolutely sloppy performance at both ends of the ice for Toronto. It looked like their first exhibition game of the year, not their first regular season game. There were some complaints after the game about the ice at the ACC, which might have attributed to, some of the guys flopping all over the place there. Notably, TJ Brody on the first goal for the breakaway. And, Matthew Nyes at one point in time bit the ice just kind of skating into the zone there. It was sloppy, but very big character win to come out and play the way they did to start the game. The way they did in the third period, and to gut it out, come back from two deficits in the game, down by 2 in the third, and you gut it out, you tie it up, and you win it in a shootout. So for as much of a sloppy game as it was, and no coach loves to see that, you love to see the way the Leafs responded if you're Sheldon Keefe.
Yeah, they battled. They didn't give up, and especially in that third period where they snatched the momentum back and tie it up at 3 in the second, and then Montreal gets 2 quick ones in the third, and you're thinking, was all that for nothing? And Auston Matthews answered that question, didn't he? Obviously, the negatives, sure, they're evident because they're sitting there on the scoreboard. Yes, the ice was poor, which is, mind-numbing to me, and they're doing this $350 million renovation. Can they get a new coolant system in there then? Like, what is the deal? This seems to be a recurring story the last few years. The ice at Scotiabank, not good to start the year. Like, what's going on here? There's some multi-billion-dollar corporation. We can't get good ice. But outside of that, sure, the negatives, defensive breakdowns, whatever. The only big negative I want to point out to you before we point out some very, nice positives for the Leafs is, the atmosphere. And again, Jason, I feel bad for the fan base because it's just too expensive to go to these games. And there were, a lot of suits there. And even Joe Bowen on the radio broadcast was calling it out. Like, the atmosphere in there for a home opener was junk. What was your opinion? They needed you there.
Well, I appreciate that. And I tend to bring as much energy as I can when I go. But that's par for the course with the Scotiabank. Given the nature of how difficult it is to get tickets and how expensive it is, how many corporate season seats there are, unfortunately, you tend to have a little bit more of a laid-back crowd versus the robust diehards that are there to support the team and scream their face off with a painted face and dyed beard. So to say it's disappointing, I've kind of gotten used to it over the years and almost look forward to some of the road games when it's going to be more diehard Leaf fans there than whether it's Senators or Flames fans. We get better crowds on the road.
It's true. And again, it's not fair because, Leafs fans are as passionate as anybody. And you see it, I tweeted, at our friend Julia Teixeira, who tweeted about it, that the real fans are out in Maple Leaf Square. They're out there screaming their head off with the big screens. You see it every playoff run. Like, that's where the fans are, unfortunately. And not that there's not diehard fans in there wearing a suit maybe, but just the atmosphere, it was a little disappointing, but hey, whatever, like you said, it's part of the course, and the team seemed to be able to find the necessary energy. And let's talk about that. Let's just start with the obvious one. That 34 kid is pretty good. He's pretty good, and he's got the franchise record now for opening night goals. He's got 12. He passed Babe Dye. Obviously, a great record to hold. Austin Matthews always hits the ground running, and he did last night or Wednesday night, pardon me, with a hat trick. A great, I believe it's his 8th hat trick. Didn't have any last year, but 8 career hat tricks now. Like, what else can we say about the guy? I mean, he is the best goal scorer in the league right now.
No question about it. And we're going to be talking about Austin Matthews a little more later in the show. You can bank on that. But yeah, everything you said, nail on the head there. I mean, Austin Matthews is easily the most prolific goal scorer in the game right now. No disrespect to Ovechkin, who, still got a shot at breaking Gretzky's record here. But right now it's Austin Matthews. And I don't think there's any debate with that. Fastest born American player to 300 goals as well. And he's actually it took him 8 games more than Ovi did to get to 300. So when we're looking at what kind of damage he's on pace to do over the course of his career, you look at your beloved Ovi and he's right there with him. So very excited to see Matthews seemingly very healthy, wrist problems behind him, and doing what he does best, putting the puck in the net.
That's my only concern for him is can he keep doing this like Ovi has deep into his 30s? Because Ovi's 38 now and will probably score 40 again this year with Nick Backstrom healthy. Can Matthews do that? Like, we've seen him do it through his 20s. Not quite as many Rocket Richard titles yet. He's got a ways to go there. But when you look at the 308 more games than, which is funny, 8. It took him 8 more games. How weird. You can't script this stuff. In terms of young goal scoring prowess, he's right there. And that's my only concern is some of his injury worries early in his career. Will they be exacerbated as he gets older? Because, just has not been hurt, which is freakish because he's thrown more hits than anybody in the league since he was drafted, which is nuts. Can he do that? I'd like to see him try. I'd like to see Matthews hit 700 plus, and health is really the only thing that you can say would be a concern, because when he's healthy, he's shown that he can fire it. And the cool thing I like too, Jason, is like the guys, they've done it in different ways. Ovi's done it the power forward way with that one timer, of course. And Matthews has done it going right down the pipe, playing center with that great snapshot. Like, they've done it in completely different ways. It's cool to see. Absolutely.
When it comes down to, can he do it into the later years of his career like Ovi has been, I absolutely see no reason why he can't. We're sitting here talking about his injury concerns and having a down year last year. And was it really the down year? Like, I mean, he was still, 40 plus goals last year, right? So even in a down year, he's still putting the puck in more often than majority of the league. So I don't really have too many concerns that way. Obviously, I just want our best player to stay healthy for as long as he can and bring home a couple cups. So that's all I really care about in the end.
Exactly. And that's all that really matters. And that's kind of a weird feeling, right? Because, and it's a feeling I can relate to, like, we're celebrating the hat trick and Matthews is electric. It's great to have this collection of talented players. It just feels, I'm feeling deja vu back in the day with my Caps, that weird feeling of like hockey's back, but I almost don't care because I just want to see what happens in April. Are you feeling that as well? I'm sure a lot of Leaf fans probably are, and for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love it too much to just want to jump ahead and hit the fast forward button.
Right.
I like the ups and downs of the season. I love watching, guys like Noah Gregor and Fraser Mitten absolutely will their way into the lineup through the exhibition games. For everybody that complains, even Austin Matthews was saying maybe there should be less exhibition games. And, a lot of fans don't want any, period. And it's like, I don't think you can underestimate the value of those exhibition games when you have guys coming in that want to be in Toronto, that are playing their hearts out to earn that roster spot, like Minton and Gregor did this year. Those are parts of the season that I absolutely love. So no, I'm as much as I'm looking forward to, taking a next step for the Leafs. I don't want to skip the regular season and everything in between.
Yeah, you want to enjoy the journey. You want to enjoy all the goals, right? It's part of it. You still have great memories of the journey along the way, and hopefully it ends up in a cup. Let's talk a bit about that. And it starts with some of the new guys. You mentioned a couple of them. Gregor, who gets on the board on Wednesday, in the opener. And of course, Fraser Minton, a kid that could go back to the WHL. He gets into the lineup. But the three marquee guys that were signed, obviously, Domi, Bertuzzi, and of course Klingberg, who had a really nice opening night, controlling the puck and running that top power play unit. What'd you think of your three big marquee guys last night? Because I thought that, they all added a little bit of kind of what we expected. Domi was involved. He had some good chances. Bertuzzi was stirring things up and getting guys angry and drawing penalties. I thought it was a pretty good night for those three guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking at, I'll start with Jonathan Klingberg. He was kind of listed as day-to-day going into that game last night, and for me, it quite obviously showed that he was still kind of battling something. His skating wasn't as smooth and as quick as he normally is. You could tell there was something hindering him, but the puck distribution, the first pass out of the zone, Jonathan Klingberg is going to make this team that much better, that much deeper, because now all of a sudden you have a power play quarterback for both units. You got Klingberg taking over the number one spot, and you can move Morgan Riley down into the second unit. And the other two guys you mentioned, Bertuzzi and Domi, once again giving our power play some amazing depth when you can roll out your second line with Bertuzzi, Domi, and Matthew Nyes, with Morgan Riley on the point. Everything about this Leafs team is better than it was last year. If you're asking my overall general opinion here, I mean, Tyler Bertuzzi's an instant upgrade over Bunting. Domi's an instant upgrade over Kerfoot. And I mean, as much as he's going to be a defensive liability throughout the year, Leaf fans are going to criticize Jonathan Klingberg's play in his own zone plenty. At least he brings leaps and bounds more offense than a guy like Justin Hall did. So I'm actually absolutely ecstatic, and I absolutely love their first impressions in their game last night.
You mentioned people are going to get frustrated with Klingberg's defensive acumen. Let's talk a bit about that in terms of this team, because last year, we saw them have good overall team defensive numbers. But in the playoffs, it kind of came back that blue line was lacking, and it was lacking in a particular dimension. And that was kind of, not even necessarily size, but just an overall ability to defend different types of situations in the playoffs. I don't know that I see a big improvement there. And again, that's what's frustrating in a way. And I remember having the same conversations with people about the Caps in 2016, 17, heading into that 18 year of, I don't know if their blue line's good enough. And we won't know till April. And that's what's frustrating about it. I need to see a lot come April out of this group, which I'm sure maybe at the deadline could look different, but I don't know, man. That's the one thing I look at with this Leafs team still. I'm looking at their blue line, and I don't see a big dog, and I don't see killers back there. Is that a concern for you?
You always want to go into the playoffs with the strongest decor possible. but that's the joy of the regular season here. So the way I'm looking at this team and they're constructed and some of the young guys stepping up, like I agree with you, probably very likely that Fraser Minton heads back to the WHL after his 9 games. But you look at the young guys on the team and you hope that somebody develops and steps up and makes perhaps William Nylander. I hate to bring his name up again, but does the emergence of Matthew Nyes into a bona fide top 6 player make William Nylander expendable? We know what his contract demands are roughly in the range of what he's looking for. Does somebody make him expendable? Does he play so well he prices himself out of a contract in Toronto? There's no way Brad Treliving is going to go into the playoffs past the trade deadline without some certainty given what transpired in Calgary. I think he learned from his mistakes there and the way he lost a couple guys. I don't foresee him making the same mistake with a guy like William Nylander. So maybe Nylander prices himself out. We get a beautiful D for him. Maybe one of the guys steps up, makes him expendable. So there's options here. I don't think that the decor we see now is what you're going to see going into round 1.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note, too, that Brad Treliving is a guy who is, almost famous for going after big defensive upgrades. Think back to Dougie Hamilton, Noah Hannafin, like guys like that. Like he goes out there and he targets guys on the blue line. He values having a stout blue line. Mark Giordano would know that from his time in Calgary when Tree was still at the helm there. So I think that there are lots of interesting options that will not kind of come to fruition until well into the season. And that's kind of part of the, this initial frustration with the year starting, where you're waiting for that breakthrough and you got to wait. We got to wait until April and even before that, the deadline to kind of see what's going to transpire here. Overall, though, I think the Leafs are, they're in for another great season. I want to ask you quickly before we take a break. We're going to do a bunch of NHL award predictions, which is always fun. We love doing that with Dark Guy. I got to ask you, though, Jason, looking at the division right now, there might be some moving and shaking. Like there are teams that are still knocking on the door. The Ottawas, the Buffaloes, Detroit should be better. Who do you foresee maybe knocking a team off and getting into the playoffs this year? Because for my money, it's Buffalo.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. When I'm looking at the makeups of the teams, Buffalo is definitely knocking on the door. They're on everybody's heels. So that's who I'd be on the lookout for and who teams should not be underestimating going into games against them.
I completely agree. Buffalo, like they're scary. They're like up front. Look, they were top 5 in goals last year. I think they had the 3rd best offense off the top of my head in the NHL. It was just their defense and their goaltending. But this Levi kid, man, if he can be the guy and, really push Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen potentially and, Dahlin, Power, man, like they have some staples there now. Like the Sabres are not deadbeats anymore. Like you can't push that team around. Ottawa, we'll see. I don't know. I still don't. I don't have a lot of faith in Jonas Korpisalo. I don't know, man.
I look at that Ottawa team and I see no improvement from last year. Honestly, it's not the Battle of Ontario. I'm not hating on my provincial rival. I look at the team. I agree with you, Korpisalo. I don't see him being the guy who's gonna just grab that team and will them into the playoffs. And there's too many holes up and down the lineup for me to get behind them saying they're ready to take another step forward. I don't see it. You don't have a guy, Jake Sanderson, fantastic, great up and coming defenseman, but you're talking about Rasmus Dahlin in Buffalo, Owen Power, who is set to take, probably another step in his development, especially with his extension announced yesterday. The pressure's off a little bit for him. Now he's just going to go out and play. I'd love to see Power use his size a little more for a guy that big, that strong, that can skate like he can. He's not overly physical, and maybe if he starts to develop that aspect of the game, he's going to be that much more of a force to be reckoned with. But I don't see that for Ottawa.
I'll say this for Ottawa. I won't be shocked if they get into the playoffs, but I will more so the other way, not at all be surprised if they miss. Now listen, like, they're a talented team. Like, at the top of their lineup, there's danger. Like, I love Timmy Stützle. That kid can play. Timmy Stu is a player, and like, we know Brady Tkachuk. You say the name Tkachuk, you know what you're getting. You're getting a dogfight from that guy. Claude Giroux can still play. Still one of the smartest players in the NHL for my money. They're going to need a lot of stuff to go right. Tarasenko, yeah. Can he stay healthy? Like,
but don't get me wrong. They definitely got some players. But
yes,
you need a team, and I don't see a team that is capable of the playoffs. You say you wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs. I'd be completely shocked. I just don't see it from them.
Okay, yeah. Well, we differ a little bit there, I guess. Like, I know, I understand where you're coming from because we just haven't seen it. But with the talent that is there, if they play right up to their expectations, all those guys, and they get some surprise guys that come up, and if this Norris guy could be healthy, my God, would they ever be stacked up top? I wouldn't be shocked, but I'm not putting a ton of belief in it. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting race in the division. All right, we'll take a quick break. Go ahead, bud. We're gonna.
Norris was one of my sleepers in a lot of my fantasy pools. I was looking at grabbing him in the late rounds, and then
I held on to him.
Yeah.
I held on to him because I'm like 35 goals in what was it, 67 games that year? I'm like, God, if this guy plays 82, could he score 40 plus? Like, I just don't want to let that go. But again, that's part of the story with Ottawa. They need a lot of stuff to go right. All right, we'll take a quick break. We need a lot of stuff to go right with our predictions coming up next. NHL award predictions. Calder, Jack Adams, Hart, you name it. We're going to predict it coming up next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkie and Drury, brought to you by our great friends, Conway Furniture, Highway 86, east end of Listowel. Go visit them for all your furniture needs. They got all kinds of stuff in there, tables, lazy boys, couches. For you couch potatoes out there, we're going to touch on that later. As always, of course, our friends at Larry Hudson, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, lots of great deals over there. The deals are hot. We know it. At Larry Hudson's, go in there and see them. If you don't have a rep already, go see our buddy Clarkie over there. And if you do have a rep, just go in, check it out. They got so much stuff in there. SUVs for wintertime, 4x4s, trucks. They got it. And our friends over at the Listowel Squash Courts, easier than ever to become a member over there. It's cheap. It's a great facility. And it's 24/7. You want to play squash at 3 a.m.? You can do that. I've done it. So believe me, you can get in there and play squash anytime. Visit our friends online, Listowel Squash Courts. Ryan Drury back here with our great friend, your friendly neighborhood dark-eyed Jason Maslakow. Buddy, it's time to do a thing we've been doing for a long time, you and I, since we've known each other. It seems like on whatever show we've appeared on together, we always got to do some award predictions. Are you ready?
I'm down. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay, we'll go through the gauntlet here. We've got 6 awards to hand out, including our early prediction for Cup winners, although I don't even know if we need to ask Jason who he thinks is going to win the Cup, but we'll do it. We'll ask him. We'll be polite here. But in the spirit of being polite, we're going to pass it to you first here, being the guest. Let's start with the Calder Trophy. Yes, Connor Bedard looking pretty good through the first 2 games so far. 2 points, a goal and an assist. Is it him running away with it, or do you foresee someone else potentially grabbing a hold of Rookie of the Year?
Everybody's going to take the simple, easy Connor Bedard answer, and that's just lazy. That's just lazy. Calder Trophy going to Devin Levy, goaltender, Buffalo Sabres. And the reason why, he wills that team into the playoffs. Chicago's not coming near the playoffs. I don't care what kind of season Connor Bedard has. They're not coming near the playoffs. Devin Levy stands on his head. Buffalo makes the playoffs. You have a Calder Trophy winner right there.
Listen, Dark Guy. You and I, over the years, have had a lot of agreements, a lot of disagreements, particularly when it comes to goalies. I still don't like that Ilya Samsonov guy. I still don't like him. However, I would like to point out that as I look down here on my list on my phone notes app, I also have Devin Levi winning the Calder Trophy, Dark Guy. Let's go.
Guys' minds think alike.
Yes, for the same reasons, our friend Dwayne down in Buffalo will be happy with our pick. I just think Devin Levi is going to be the next great goaltender. He's shown it at every level. He was dominant with a capital D in the NCAA, and it's very rare that you see a goalie skip the AHL and jump right in. Well, in the 6 games he played last year, he was brilliant and showed that Buffalo is not only set up front and on the back end, I think they're set in the blue paint too, and I certainly think that if this guy puts up a 30-plus win, 915-ish plus save percentage, toss a couple shutouts in there, I just don't see how, unless Bedard does the Ovi Sid thing and has 100 points, I just don't see how if Levi puts those numbers up, you can't ignore him for a potential Calder win. And I believe off the top of my head, he would be the first goaltender to win it since Cam Ward. I believe off the top of my head. So that would be, hey, that'd be a story. Right. We love our goalies. We love our goalies here, right? We're goalie huggers. We like that. Let's move over to the Hart Trophy. Yes, Connor McDavid again. Bedard, an obvious Calder pick. McDavid, deservedly so. He's the best player on earth. Obvious Hart pick. I mean, you put up 150 points every year, it seems. You're going to have a grasp on that trophy. However, Dark Guy, this is the best league in the world, and there's plenty of other guys who could do it. Who do you think is going to be the league MVP?
Winning his second career Hart Trophy will be number 34, Papi, Austin Matthews. This guy, he's again, we talked about it earlier, he's healthy. He's wanting to prove a point. He's wanting to take that next step. And I think you're just going to see a dominant performance from one of the world's best players, start to finish. I don't think it's even going to be close.
We'll see. It's not a bad pick. We've seen him do it before. This is one of those Leafs predictions that you can make and say, yeah, I can see that. I don't think anybody can argue because we've literally seen him do it. And if he's healthy all year and scores 50 plus, he'll be right there in the mix. Again, I didn't want to go with the obvious pick. If Connor McDavid wins it again, he'll deserve it because he's McDavid. However, I wanted to go a different direction too. And I just think that this team is going to take another big step. They showed everybody last year that they're serious business. And I think this young man is the catalyst of it all. I would not be shocked at all behind a 115, 120-ish point season if Jack Hughes is lifting the Hart Trophy at the NHL Awards. I just think that Jack Hughes, he showed last year throwing his stick in the stands after OT winners and pulling dangles out. Well, that Hughes family, my God, they got 3 talented kids. They're just loving life right now, and Jack's going to love it the most this year. I think Jack Hughes is going to, and he's got great odds, by the way, if you're a betting man like we are, Dark Guy. He's got great odds. I believe last I looked on Bet365, he might be like plus 3,500 or something like that. Like that's, hey, sprinkle 5 on that, like Jack Hughes, I could see him doing it.
I definitely can't argue your selection of Jack Hughes. I mean, you listen to this guy talk and the hunger and drive to want to be considered and perform like the upper echelon of the league is there. This guy wants it, and I would not be at all surprised to see him come out and have an MVP season.
He's talented, man. But again, there's lots of talented guys. McDavid, Draisaitl, Pasternak. Those guys are out there, man. Good defenseman. Could Cale Makar have a big year? We might talk about him in a little bit here. Hart Trophy. There you go. Matthews for Dark Guy. Jack Hughes of the Devils for myself. Let's talk about the Rocket. I think we're probably both we might both be on the same page here. To pair with his heart in Dark Guy's heart, is Austin Matthews also taken?
I wish we would have done the Rocket first, because I would have said after winning the Rocket, you're obviously winning the Hart Trophy.
Right.
But absolutely, I'm going with Austin Matthews again. He's one of the most prolific goal scorers, will be one of the most prolific goal scorers of all time. He's the best natural goal scorer in the game today. He's your Rocket Richard Trophy winner for 2023-2024.
I agree. Let's not beat around the bush here. I mean, night one was any indication. The guy just wants to get back to business and shooting a lot, shooting at high volume. I feel like they're going to find new ways to utilize him on the power play, which if he really wants to start racking up Rockets in the same type of fashion that Big O does or has, because he's got a long way to go. Like, I think by the same age, O already had 5. So Matthews got to get in gear here. And if he wants to do that, they got to start finding different ways to get him involved on the power play, like Ovi's done better than, well, anybody in NHL history. Leads in all-time power play goals. Matthews, if the whole team, the coaching staff, he himself, if they can find ways to get him some different looks with the man advantage, there's absolutely no reason why this guy can't eat up a Rocket this year and for many other years to come. Will he hit the 9 that Ovi's got? We'll see. We will see, but I'm right on that boat with you. Big Poppy, the big cactus, he will be your Rocket Richard winner this year. Let's talk about something that might have a little bit more, debatability around it, if you will. Let's talk Norris Trophy here. And I just want to say off the top here, because we happen to be recording this on Thursday, October 12th, and I just need to get this off my chest. It is a hill that I will die on. I will take this battle with the NHL and the NHL award voters to my grave. October 12th happens to be the birthday of a man who I love. His name is Michael Green, and he played for the Washington Capitals for a long, long time. And in 2009, he scored 30 goals and broke Paul Coffey's consecutive goal record for defensemen in 8 straight games and did not win the Rocket Richard Trophy. Zdeno Chara won the the Norris Trophy. Zdeno Chara won that year, I believe. It might have even been Duncan Keith. It doesn't matter who it was, because it should have been Mike Green. And I forever will be so mad that Mike Green was denied his right to put his name on the James Norris Memorial Trophy. I digress.
Well, I think
let's talk about it.
I think there's a simple solution for that, and it's called It's called the Bobby Orr Trophy. That is going to be for the most offensive defenseman, and the Norris can remain for the best defensive defenseman in the league. I'm not a fan of how the Norris Trophy has evolved into, if you've led the league or you're in a top 5 league in defensive scoring, then chances are you're getting votes. Don't think that's the way it should be, because there's a lot of really good defensive defensemen in the league. I agree. Trophy and call it a day.
I agree, and I wouldn't hate that idea. My issue, though, is exactly what you brought up. My personal vendetta with the Norris Trophy Award that year. It has transformed into this point contest, and no one did it better than Mike Green. He scored 30 goals. 30. He broke a Paul Coffey record, for God's sake. We can't do this. I'm going to get angry, and I don't want to be angry. We're having fun. We're having fun on instigating, okay? Norris Trophy, Dark Guy, who do you like?
Justin Hall.
Show's over, folks.
I'm going with Rasmus Dahlin. Just the development and all-around improvement of his game, pinnacling last year with how he performed. I think this is, many will say Cale Makar's to lose. There's a couple other dark horses, Miro Heiskanen in Dallas. But I'll tell you right now, I think we see a little bit of the changing of the guard here with Rasmus Dahlin.
Dark Guy, we've been friends a long time, and we're just continuing along this path where we're walking hand in hand down the happy predictions road, aren't we? Because I also think Rasmus Dahlin will win the Norris Trophy. Why? Well, look, when he first came into the league, people thought, he's not really hitting expectations. Completely unfair. Defense is the hardest position in hockey to walk into the NHL and play at a high level. But he has shown over the last couple of years, really, particularly with his big breakout performance last year, which included some injury woes, that he was absolutely more than worth that number one overall selection. This kid is a freak. Not only is he one of the best puck handlers in the entire league, the kid can dangle like he's a left winger. It's unbelievable. He's got a booming shot, and he plays with an edge too. This guy loves to catch people coming through the trolley tracks with their head down. Go on YouTube and look up hit reels from even back in Sweden all the way to his time in the NHL. If you cut through the middle of Buffalo's zone, watch out. Dahlin will catch you. And I think that combo of his rugged, aggressive, physical play combined with those nifty mittens, I think Dahlin is going to put up 80-plus points. He's going to feast on that Buffalo power play, and he's going to be your Norris Trophy winner. I love it. We're in agreement here.
Here I came into this episode of the podcast thinking that I was going to have some groundbreaking, controversial even predictions, and here we are. Maybe if Clarky was here, he would have a little bit of something different, probably all Toronto Maple Leafs, but I can't blame him for that. So
yeah, we understand. I get it. But yeah, maybe if Clarky was here, this would be a little more antagonistic, and it just isn't. But maybe that'll change because we got a couple more awards to go here. Let's talk Jack Adams, which traditionally over the last number of years has kind of gone to a coach on a team that kind of surprised everybody, that, took a big step forward and made the playoffs. Maybe Donnie Meatballs down in Buffalo could be a candidate for this. Who knows? Because if we think Buffalo, like both of us do, are going to have some award winners, maybe they take a big step and get into the playoffs. He would be a guy that traditionally over the last number of years would be a candidate for this. He's not mine, but Dark Guy, who do you think could be Coach of the Year and why?
Oh, I struggled with this one, only for the simple fact of everything you just said. When I'm looking at and what we've been talking about, if Buffalo makes that push, he's going to be on a lot of people's radars for getting Buffalo back into the playoffs. Then I was kind of looking, over at New Jersey. I really think they are going to make some noise, and Lindy Ruff could potentially, get some of the accolades for that. But in the end, I went with Don Granato in Buffalo. I think if they make the playoffs, some of the guys have the type of years we're talking about having. He's going to get the votes in the end. So I'm going with Donnie Granato in Buffalo.
Donnie Meatballs, our buddy Dwayne, is going to be very ecstatic with this as well. I cannot fault you.
This is hurting me, by the way.
I understand you don't like to say nice things about Buffalo.
Montreal, Ottawa, and Buffalo is like right there. So this is hurting me just a little bit.
But you're a good fan, and we respect that you're able to see things objectively. We understand how hard that is. And you're doing the right thing here, because I agree with you. Like, I thought long and hard. I wrestled with this. This might be the toughest one next to the next award we'll try and predict. It's just so hard because, like, will it go to a guy that has a ridiculously dominant Florida type, President's Trophy season, Boston last year, right? That's where the award went, because Boston, they broke a record. You saw all those Jack Adams that went to some of those great Capitals. Like, it's just hard. Or is it going to go to a guy that sneaks in with a team that nobody really felt would make the playoffs? Well, I'm going to go in a direction, and again, we're kind of thinking alike here, Dark Guy. It's my pick for the Jack Adams very too early award is going to be a guy that signed a coaching extension a couple days ago, and that is Lindy Ruff, a guy that Buffalo loves, but he's plying his trade with the New Jersey Devils now, and behind Jack Hughes' Hart Trophy season that I predicted, I feel like Lindy Ruff is going to guide that team to an unbelievable year and potentially a pretty deep playoff run. That Devils team, man, they are scary top to bottom. Yes, some question marks in goal, but if we've learned anything over the last couple of years, you do not need a Martin Brodeur. You do not need a Dominic Hasek. You do not need a guy like that necessarily to be in your pipes. You just need a guy who's mechanically solid and gets hot for a couple months. Vegas proved it again last year. And I think New Jersey's goaltending is more than capable of doing that. And that's why I think Lindy Ruff could potentially be the Jack Adams Award winner. Dark Guy, this is where we will run into some differing opinions. Who's gonna win the big guy? Who is taking Lord Stanley away from the Vegas Golden Knights? I do not like them to repeat. Let's get that out of the way. And I know you don't either. I mentioned this at the start of the segment. This probably feels like the most obvious question of all time. Who do you think is winning the Stanley Cup this year?
Well, I'm going to give you a very dramatic answer here. Okay.
Oh,
But before we do, being a goalie, we need to do a Vezina prediction.
that's right. We have to do a Vezina. How did I forget?
We're going to do this the other way. You know, being a goaltender, I can't overlook this one. I have to ask you, who's your pick to win the Vezina?
See, I like that you've done this because I'm dumb, and we know this. The viewers know that I don't think straight quite often. I got a lot going on here, or maybe not enough. The brain is not always firing at 100%, okay, guys? So I'm glad that you made sure to mention that we can't forget. Goalie of the year. We love our goalies. Come on here. Okay. And I'm glad that you put me on the spot, too, with it. Here's who I think is going to win the Vezina Trophy, and I'm going to give you a dark horse pick as well. The Vezina will be won by Ilya Sorokin. Even if the Islanders miss the playoffs, which is possible, I don't think it will be because of this guy. I think he's going to win 35 plus. He's going to have a better than 920 save percentage, and he might mix 5 or 6 shutouts in. He is one of the few goalies, one of maybe 4 or 5 in the league that are good enough to absolutely swallow and steal points by himself and win 1-0 in overtime or a shootout. He's that dominant. He is the most technically sound goalie in the NHL, in my opinion. Vasilevsky lovers be damned. I know, but he's hurt. I can't pick him. I think Ilya Sorokin is doing things in net that are taking me back to early Ed Belfour days. Just so dominant and intimidating to shoot against. Ilya Sorokin, Vezina Trophy winner. Book it.
Well, I can't say a whole lot against that, especially when you throw out a comparison to my favorite goaltender of all time, Ed Belfour.
I did that on purpose.
I absolutely love Sorokin. But I feel like saying Shesterkin or Sorokin with an injured Vasilevsky was a little bit of an easy answer there. I mean,
well, do you want my dark horse pick?
Fruit, Ryan.
Okay, well, here, I'll give you a dark horse. My dark horse Vezina pick. If you want to, again, you want to sprinkle $5-6 on the odds on this because they're pretty steep. There's a kid who's playing in the state of Lakes for the Minnesota Wild. Philip Gustafson, dark horse Vezina pick.
Solid pick. Either one of those would be very good picks. They'd both be wrong, but very good picks.
Oh, okay.
This year, I think you're going to see Jake Ottinger out of Dallas take home the Vezina.
God, is he good?
I think Dallas is going to have a very good season, and I think he's going to be a large reason why, which will result in him taking home the cherished hardware at the end of the season. And I want to throw, if I'm going to throw a dark horse into this,
give me one. Don't do it.
Ilya Samsonov.
You make me sick.
All right,
make me sick.
This Toronto Maple Leafs team has been one of the best defensive teams as a whole over the last couple seasons.
Not because of him.
He has a half decently healthy season. He's shown flashes of brilliance multiple times throughout his career. He did it a lot last year. He is in a scenario where he can position himself with a good season into a dark horse candidate. And I don't care how much you hate that answer. That's what you're getting.
Here's what I'll say about old Ilya. It will require him to play more than 50, 55 games because the other guys we've mentioned are going to probably push 60.
Absolutely.
He's never played more than what's his career high? 38. He's never played more than 38 games in a year, so not even a half season. Numbers last year pretty good, minus the playoffs, which I predicted because the guy can't screw his head on straight. But they were really good at home. Yeah. He had one of the strangest goaltending seasons that I've seen maybe in my life because his road numbers were atrocious. Yeah. I'm talking sub 900 save percentage.
That's why they call it a dark horse, Drury.
I get and to be fair to you, even with my disdain for what he was not able to do as a highly touted Washington Capitals prospect, it's a great dark horse pick. It is because you still sit there, you look at him, you know who he is. If I could compare him to another now former athlete, you know who Ilya Samsonov is, dude? He's Tim Tebow. Where you're like, that's what he is. Where you're like, I don't know how he's doing it because it looks sloppy, but he's getting results. No, are they leading to the ultimate prize? No. But you can't argue with the wins and the things that he does do at times when he's in there. Was it the prettiest release when Tim Tebow threw the ball? No, but he was a grinder. And especially in college, like he just got it done. And you were like, I don't know how the hell this kid is pulling this off, but he's doing it. And you hold on to this little nugget of belief. You're like, I can see the talent there. And you're like, God, is it ever going to fully bloom? Is the flower ever going to fully open? He's still young enough where you can absolutely still cling to that. But it's going to take him, man, it's going to take a serious turn. I don't know what they're doing with him there. They've got a new goalie like Curtis Sanford. And I know Curtis McElhaney's now joined the organization too. They're going to have to get him to stop with the happy feet. He is still way too noisy in his crease. And there's no more evidence of it still being a problem than Montreal's 5th goal in the opener. Elanen's goal, like, what's he doing out there? Yeah. If he can rein that in and not be awful on the road, like dark guy, look, he's a talented kid. Okay. It's a great dark horse pick.
You just compared Ilya Samsonov to Tim Tebow, so I'm going to go ahead and change the subject. Because
you see what I mean, though?
Yes, absolutely. I do see what you're getting at. I think it's a horrible comparison because I see.
But why?
I see Samsonov having more longevity and more success long term. I think he's already further along than Tim Tebow was.
I agree. I understand. I guess what I'm saying is I see a similarity in the whole. Yeah, exactly. we're instigating. We're poking the bear back and forth here. I'll say this: I love his mask, the Cujo tribute. let's go. Like,
absolutely. Martin Jones did a fantastic job too. Going to be down with the Marlies, and amazing that he cleared waivers to get down there. But okay, one more before we go to Cup winners. We need to talk about the former Patrice Bergeron annual award.
You want to do Selke? I didn't think you'd want to
do Selke. I mean,
okay.
It would have been so easy to just say Patrice Bergeron, but he's no longer playing. There has to be a changing of the guard. Somebody's going to step up here and take home the hardware. Who do you got?
Selke. See, now I was really unprepared for this one, but I have a guy who I really like a lot, and I think is a really, really good defensive player. Again, I just think that this will be a contributing factor to Jack Hughes winning a Hart, Lindy Ruff winning a Jack Adams. I think Nico Hischier, he's gonna get one, and I think it might be this year. He's really good. Nico Hischier, Selke.
Absolutely agreed. Nico Hischier is going to probably win more than one Selke award in the course of his career. I don't think it's going to be this year.
Okay.
People are probably expecting me to say Austin Matthews, maybe Mitch Marner, because I mean Mitch Marner, even as a winger, was still top 3 in votes last year, and
yes,
a generally center biased award. But I'm not. I think this guy still has a lot in the tank, and he's still one of the top defensive forwards in the league. I think Anze Kopitar is your Selke winner.
I mean, already a winner multiple times, I believe now. I think he's got 2 in the cabinet to go along with all of his other great awards. I mean, you can't really argue with that. Mitch Marner, if he were to do it, I believe off the top of my head, if memory serves, which my brain's not great, but my memory's pretty good, folks. Memory serves, the last winger to win the award was Jere Lehtinen in 2002. And he's pretty darn good, and he played for the Dallas Stars. It's not impossible for the people that believe in Mitch Marner for the award, right? It's not impossible.
Absolutely.
But it's been a while.
Yes.
It's been a while. Okay, quickly, before we go to our couch potato segment to end off the show, Cup winner. Just say it.
Leafs beat the Avs.
Leafs beat the Avs. Oh, so you've got a Cup final and everything figured out.
Leafs beat the Avs. I don't care how many games. I don't care how many games. That's what's happening.
4 games. Why not? They're sweeping. Here's my Cup prediction. I love those New Jersey Devils, man. I love what's going on down at the Rock. And I think it's going to be rocking in the Garden State. They'll get the boss out there at the parade. Let's go. It'll be sweet. And the Devils, you want to know who they're going to beat in the Cup final? It's going to be a rewind to the year 2000. Yes, sir. They're going to beat the Dallas Stars in 7. Devils, let's go.
That'd be very interesting. But yeah, it's going to be a great conference finals between the Devils and Leafs when the Leafs actually win and send your boys home. So
what an Eastern Conference final that would be.
Absolutely.
Two big American centers going head to head. Let's Hughesy and Matthews. Oh, sign me up. Where do we sign? We just need the Leafs to come through for us. We just need them to come through for us. It'll be interesting. All right. Love doing award predictions with Dark Guy. When we come back, no Clarky. So Dark Guy graciously is going to sit in with us. He's got a couch potato brought to you by Conway Furniture. Ready to go. That's next here on Instigating. Wrapping things up this week on Instigating with Clarky and Drury, brought to you by our great friends at Conway Furniture, Highway 86, east end of Listowel. Of course, our friends at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC here in Listowel, where the deals are hot. Go see them. They've got SUVs. They got trucks. Winter around the corner. You need that 4x4. Go see them. You can even go visit Clarky there. If you don't already have a rep, he'll help you out. And of course, our friends at the Listowel Squash Courts. Back here with Dark Guy, Jason Maslakow, wrapping things up. Gracious enough to join us on our Conway Furniture Couch Potato of the Week. And again, Jason as our guest. I will leave it to you to start things off. Who is your couch potato of the week? Is it negative? Is it somebody being lazy? Or is it somebody who deserves to kick back in a comfy lazy boy, which, by the way, you can get it with our friends at Conway Furniture. What's it going to be, Mr. Dark Guy?
My couch potato of the week has has not earned the right to kick back and relax. They have missed the boat yet again, and it's absolutely beyond disappointing. But my couch potato of the week goes to the team at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment that selected Pursuit of Happiness by Kid Cudi to be the new Maple Leafs goal song. You went from bad to bad.
Wow. Okay. So I got to be honest, dude, quickly. I'm shocked because the way you started that, I thought you were going to say Mark Shapiro and the Blue Jays because
they were there.
And Ross Atkins was my couch potato last week, as we all know. What a heated show that was. Go check that out. However, I want you to dive deeper here because you can't come out with a criticism of the new goal song if you don't have a suggestion for what you would have picked.
Okay, this is very simple. I mean, you need something, as we talked earlier in the show, the crowd at the Scotiabank Center can be so dreary and down and laid back, and it's difficult to get a Go Leafs Go chant going sometimes. You needed a song that had a little meat to it that was going to get people out of their feet cheering, and when it's done playing, keep cheering, chant Go Leafs Go, something along the lines of Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue would have been a fantastic choice. This is going to get some criticism, but if you wanted Canadian content, Burn It Down, Burn It to the Ground by Nickelback would have been a great choice that has a little meat to it, a little get up and go. Not, I'm on the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything that shines ain't always going to be gold. Hey, I'll be fine when I get it. Like, seriously?
Well, they should just play the version of you singing this. We're going to send this to MLSE, and it can just be Dark Guy.
Yeah, I don't know how well that would go over either, but going from Hall & Oates to Kid Cudi was not, it was a lateral move, and it was maybe a marginal upgrade. I do like the song. It was a great club banger.
Yeah.
Good party tune. It's just not what's going to keep the fans standing and cheering when they stop playing it. And that's MLSE for the team that made that decision. Have a seat on the couch.
I love it. You want to have a seat on the couch? You can get one at Conway Furniture. By the way, you know what? The price you see on the stuff in there, that includes HST and delivery. All right. So if you want to be lazy on the couch like the MLSE people, you go to Conway Furniture. Speaking of couch potatoes, I love it. Hey, for my money, give me some Bryan Adams. Come on. Can't stop this thing we started. Let's go. We've started a journey here. We need a cup run. Can't stop this thing we started. Let's go, Bryan Adams.
There's so many options. Thin Lizzy, the boys are back. I mean, come on. Pick anything. Pick anything. Anything other than Kid Cudi or Hall & Oates.
Some hip. Give me some Alexis on Fire, for God's sake. Come on.
I listen, I guess I'm just happy it wasn't a Justin Bieber collaboration.
Yeah. Well, it's the small victories, right? It's
we'll take the small victories.
It's the small victories. My couch potato, it's very plain and simple, and producer Adam knows because I let him know ahead of time what my couch potato is. I'm just really disappointed in the NHL, and it's Gary Bettman and his cronies out there. What are you doing with this pride tape nonsense? Come on, Gary. For God's sake. You can't have an organization and an initiative called Hockey is for Everyone and then ban pride tape. Look, 7 or 8 guys cried that they had to wear a pride jersey, and now you've gone the complete opposite direction. Society's changing. The world is changing. We got to be more accepting of people, man. This is so lame. And to ban the tape, like, who the hell was the tape hurting, Gary? It's just so lame, and it's such a lazy, borderline bigoted thing to do. Gare, you've made a lot of mistakes in your career, including a potential upcoming return to Atlanta, but I don't even care. Bring the Atlanta Thrashers back. I loved the jersey, but let them wear pride tape on their sticks if they want. If there's 7 or 8 crybabies who don't want to wear pride stuff, fine, but let the other guys do it. It's been a great initiative, and this is so lazy. Caving to a couple crybabies. That's about as lazy as it gets. I can't stand it. Makes me sick. Before we go, obviously want to offer our condolences to the Snow family. Of course, Chris Snow, the assistant general manager in Calgary, passing away after a brave 5-year battle with ALS. A good buddy of mine, Kyle, he lost his dad to ALS, a terrible disease. And the Snows have been so brave through it all. Kelsey and the kids, we just want to send our condolences to you and the entire Flames organization for that matter as well. And to Barry Melrose, too. What a beauty. Barry Melrose has been such a great ambassador for the game, and he's stepping away from broadcasting, a legendary broadcasting career, diagnosed with Parkinson's. We're thinking about the magic mullet himself, Barry. We're all behind you. You can watch this show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. You can catch the show debuting on our YouTube channel at 9 o'clock on Fridays. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. You can find the podcast version where all your favorite podcasts can be found, including Apple and Spotify. I'm Ryan Drury for Clarkie and our good buddy, Jason Maslakow, your friendly neighborhood dark guy. It could be the year. It could be the year. Dark Guy still believes. Do you believe, Leaf Nation? Thanks for doing this, pal.
Pleasure's all mine, and it is the year.
It's the year. Let's see. We'll be back next week with more Instigating.